Ladies and gentlemen, CG Reaction. This is Hunting the Bismarck, Sink the Bismarck, Extra History Part 4 by the channel Extra Credits. Yes, this is the last part. We're gonna see Bismarck getting sunk in this one. Yeah, it's been, tense situation. I didn't know something like this existed throughout the history, where everybody rushes just after one thing, like one ship. But this is ridiculous. Because of rules or regulation, obviously the ships are not that stronger for allied forces and things. But obviously Hitler don't give a shit about that. So he created the Bismarck, the most powerful ship there is. So everybody's just running after it. In the end, I think numbers are going to overwhelm this ship, because it doesn't matter how powerful you make one ship. Many numbers of ship gunning for just that one. Yeah, the Bismarck is going down. But yeah, so far, I've said that Bismarck has been lucky, right? It's been luck that Bismarck. Some people also said in the comment that it's not just about luck. It's allied for the British forces has been lucky as well. Even though they didn't hit Bismarck, they hit somebody else. In that way, they tested the torpedoes and things, which were misfiring or something. Yeah, you could look at it like that, sure. But yeah, I guess in this one, everybody's just going to attack Bismarck at once, and Bismarck is going to go down. So yeah, did anybody, after, sinking of the Bismarck later on, way later on, where World War was over and everything, did anybody find the ruins of Bismarck or anything like that? Or, it's not that deep in the water, so it doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm just thinking that, how people find remains of, old ships, World War II ships. Did anybody find the remains of Bismarck? Because that would be something. Alright, let's watch this one.
A flight of swordfish speeds east toward the Bismarck. The hope of the Royal Navy rests on their wings. This episode is sponsored by Wargaming. New players can download World of Warships and use the code EXTRA1 for free goodies. Link in the description. 2047 hours. The 15 swordfish pilots know that this is their last shot. Soon it'll be dark, and by dawn the next day, the Bismarck will be in range of the Luftwaffe air.
Yeah, I love how Bismarck's guns are so fast. It's for the advanced planes, not this one. I said jets, and somebody like, man, jets not invented yet. Yeah, alright, I know, but it's English is not my first language, alright? Slip of the tongue, I guess. Jets. I mean, I even said the jets word in World War One. It's just in my head. That's the word I created. Usually fighter jets. So jets. I know jets weren't created at that time. So yeah.
Bases on the French coast. No one else can get here in time. They sight the Bismarck and start their attack run, coming in piecemeal after losing formation in the clouds. They fly low, some only 50 feet above the cresting waves. The Bismarck lights up with anti-aircraft fire, filling the air so thick with shells that the pilots hunch in their open cockpits. Crewmen scream as shrapnel tears their unprotected bodies. One swordfish takes 175...
Shrapnel? Aren't these shells big as hell to take down plane? How does it hit somebody and it's just, it just hurts them, not kill them? Or, I'm missing something here. Are these shots are something like shotguns type of thing, where it splits into balls or something, multiple balls that shreds the plane? Because I thought it were big ass ammo, right? I don't know.
5 hits, but they don't go down. Torpedoes hit the water. One strikes Bismarck on its thick armor belt. The great ship weaves and dodges. Huge waves send the tin fish at crazy angles. One pilot is about to loose when he hears his navigator yell, "Not now!" He turns to see the man hanging upside down from the side of the plane, judging wave patterns so that the torpedo runs straight. "Okay, let it go!"
People would not do this shit in cars, let alone planes. That's the level of dedication that they want this ship down, right? The guy looks behind, what the fuck? Look at that, he's aiming from there. Oh man, this is awesome.
It's a textbook shot, 2 ship lengths ahead. The Bismarck makes an evasive turn, but the torpedo strikes its stern. There's a blast of flame and water. But the great ship sails on, unaffected. As the bloodied swordfish crews climb out of their aircraft, they report that they've failed. But a report comes in saying that the Bismarck is behaving erratically. She hasn't recovered from her evasive turn and has circled northwest into the wind and directly away from the French coast. The torpedo knocked out her steering. The pilots erupt in celebration. the 27th of May.
Oh, that's just the perfect hit, right? Without stating, it's like it can't maneuver, it can't do anything. That's it. It's crippled now.
00 hours on the King George V. Admiral Tovey finally has the opportunity he's needed to close the jaws on Bismarck. Over the last few hours, he's ordered destroyers to bracket the ship in order to ensure that Bismarck doesn't escape again. A few have harassed it with torpedoes, one Polish destroyer flashing the message, "I am a Pole," while firing, but mostly they're keeping their distance. There'll be no night attack, Tovey decides. Catching up will cost precious fuel, and Bismarck has proved too dangerous to fight in less than ideal conditions. He'll wait until morning. 08:45 hours, 48 degrees 10 minutes north, 16 degrees 15 minutes west. For the first time since beginning this mission, Tovey sees Bismarck with his own eyes. Behind him is the HMS Rodney. The Rodney is old, slow, and leaking below decks, but its 16-inch guns are the largest in the Royal Navy. Though barely able to maneuver...
Wait a minute, Bismarck has 15-inch, right? This thing has 16-inch guns?
Bismarck's guns are still fully operational. Tovey's plan is to approach Bismarck from all sides, forcing the ship to split its fire between his 4 ships, the battleships King George V and Rodney, and the cruisers Dorsetshire and Norfolk. But first, the battleships must drive in hard from the west with only their forward turrets firing, the same maneuver that doomed the Hood. The Rodney opens fire at a range of 12 miles. Spray leaps up in front of the Bismarck, high enough that it spoils the targeting on King George V's first salvo. 3 minutes later, Bismarck answers, its opening salvo landing all around Rodney. Back and forth the 3 ships trade fire, the Rodney and King George V plunging forward at top speed in the heavy seas. The pace renders the Rodney's engine room nearly uninhabitable. Crewmen hose her overheating boilers down with seawater. Every salvo blows the boiler doors open.
This is equivalent to, one of those drag races like Fast and Furious where, somebody, puts the pedal to the metal and just, red lines it, engine is heating up, shut up, and just...
with a rush of flame. And each curtain of fire from the Bismarck creeps closer to the Rodney. On the Bismarck's 3rd salvo, fountains of water bracket the old ship. Shrapnel lances through her superstructure. The Rodney is dead to rights, expecting a hit. But then she fires. The 16-inch shell smashes into Bismarck's main fire control director. Her guns fall quiet in the absence of orders. The British battleships turn and split up, surrounding the Bismarck, pounding her with broadsides from 2 angles. After a pause, the Bismarck turns slightly to put King George V in view of its undamaged aft fire director, its salvos barely missing Tovey's flagship. But the British have found their range. 3 minutes after her first hit, Rodney nails Bismarck's B turret, penetrating the armor with a blast so powerful the concussion temporarily knocks neighboring A turret out of action. Bismarck's counterfire dwindles, each turret firing erratically and independently. Now even Tovey's cruisers have joined the pummeling. The 8-inch guns of Norfolk and Dorsetshire are too small to sink the Bismarck, but they tear through its unarmored upper decks. The Bismarck's superstructure begins to come apart. An ammunition locker explodes. The fire director station flies through the air like a kicked can. Flames reach as high as the mainmast. The bridge collapses forward.
Damn, the Rodney? Yeah, right, Rodney. Yeah, with the 16-inch, guns. I think, Bismarck only has 15-inch, right? So that's a big-ass gun right there with that ship. So they just bring in, literally, they bring in the big guns there and just try, just shoot the hell out of Bismarck.
Forward. By 09:30 hours, Bismarck's 4 great turrets have fired their last salvo, and shots from her secondary guns dwindle. The Rodney closes to point-blank range, 2,000 yards, and begins slamming broadsides into the hull. 3 fires rage on Bismarck's deck. Holes appear in the upper hull. So many shells are pounding the bow that it's red hot, hissing with steam every time it plunges into the heavy sea. Watching through binoculars, Royal Navy officers see a little trickle of men emerge from Bismarck. They run along the deck, sheltering behind the blasted turrets or jumping in bunches into the sea. For many of the British, it's the first time they've seen the enemy. It sickens them. German sailors try to signal surrender, but the next volley cuts them down. Aboard the Rodney, a chaplain tearfully begs the ship's captain to stop, but their orders are clear. The Bismarck must be sunk. Yet the ship stubbornly refuses to go under. Tovy's ships circle, hammering her with every weapon they have, pounding away until the stress of their guns shatter windows and open leaks in their own ships. For 50 minutes, they dismember the Bismarck, firing over 2,800 shells.
Ooh, I'm trying to imagine 50 minutes. Damn, straight 50 minutes shell after shell just attacking Bismarck. Holy shit. That's just pummeling right there.
At 10:21 hours, the guns go quiet. Tovy's ships have expended so much fuel that they're in danger of not being able to get back home. Tovy orders his ships to make for Scapa Flow. The Dorsetshire will finish the Bismarck. Dorsetshire moves to point-blank range and fires 2 torpedoes into the Bismarck's starboard side and another into the port side. The pride of Hitler's fleet heels over, her lower hull glowing from internal fires, and gradually sinks by the stern. Within 15 seconds, she's gone. The Dorsetshire throws nets over its side to pick up German survivors. Her sailors try to haul as many as they can aboard, but some are badly burned or missing limbs. Safe on deck, crewmen hand their half-frozen enemies rum and hot cocoa, pity eclipsing their anger over the loss of the Hood. But then a lookout spots a U-boat periscope. German submarines are known to converge on sinking ships, and in order to save his crew, the Dorsetshire's captain gives an unthinkable order. Unless they want to join the Bismarck, they must get underway. The ship begins to pull forward with hundreds of wailing men still floating around her. Some cling to the nets as she begins to move, losing their grip and drifting to stern as she gains speed. 2,200 men served on Bismarck. Only 114 survived. The time is 1200 hours. Churchill tells Parliament that the Bismarck has been sunk.
Yeah, man. Look, can't blame the guy, right? I mean, he has to think for his man too, right? These are Nazis we're talking about. I mean, they could do anything. So they might attack the U-boat, so he has to turn away. I mean, but that's just fucked up. Those people, screaming that. But then again, if the U-boat didn't came, the guy would have saved them. But he can't risk his ship there. He can't risk his man after this.
The news goes out via radio minutes later, greeted by 3 cheers in the Bletchley Park canteen. It's a major victory for the codebreakers, proof that their program can deliver results. The victory comes at a crucial time. It distracts the press from royal...
All of that, codebreaker, they didn't break any code. It would take weeks, right? They were using other tactics, They were just, some German-speaking lady was just, deciphering anything they could hear. I mean, the codes didn't break because it would take weeks, right?
Navy losses in the Mediterranean, and signals to the U.S. Congress, still divided over American convoys, that the Royal Navy can defend American shipping. In Germany, propagandists spin the Bismarck's sinking as a noble last stand, but Hitler receives a different message. He's never trusted naval power. Capital ships are too expensive, too vulnerable to air raids, and their loss is too public. Plus, they gobble up Germany's limited fuel resources. The Royal Navy could have the Atlantic. From now on, he would use his capital ships defensively, and employ U-boats to harass convoys. After all, his focus was needed elsewhere. In 3 weeks, Germany's forces would invade the Soviet Union, and he'd have plenty of time to deal with the troublesome English once he'd captured Moscow. Or so he thought.
Yeah.
Thanks again to Wargaming for sponsoring these episodes.
Yeah, that's where Nazis going down, right? Trying to invade Soviet Union. Doesn't matter if you're Napoleon, Hitler, anybody. Try to take on Russia and Soviet Union, yeah. That's gonna be downfall from there on. Yeah, but Hitler was desperate at this point. Yeah, his resources was going down. He didn't have fuel. He needed to take places like Soviet Union and things just to get resources. Otherwise, his campaign is cut short already. And the way he started all this thing, I don't remember exactly which video I watched a long time ago, but he literally put everything on the line. If Germany loses, they are effed basically. The debt would basically crush them. That's how Hitler invested everything. Hitler didn't keep any safety net. If he fails, he's screwed. So he can't fail. That's in his mentality. So now resources running low. He can't choose treaties or anything, even if he wanted, which I highly doubt he wanted, because he put everything on the line. He has to take over places. So he just went after Soviet Union everywhere just to get resources, and that's it. After that, it's all downhill for him. Or people that was hunting the Bismarck, sunk the Bismarck. Royal Navy just put everything they had and took down the Bismarck in the end. I'd really like to know, did anybody find ruins of Bismarck? There would be so much damage, right? Too many shots for 50 minutes straight, shots after shots, all the torpedoes and shit. Yeah, I don't know why Royal Navy, put all this effort. If they employed Edward Kenway, he would have, sunk it like that. All right, I'll see you next time.